Hi, my name is Juan, and welcome to The Couch, a podcast where real therapists talk about real things. Please remember that we are therapists, but we are not your therapists, and this podcast is intended for educational purposes only. PURPOSE. 7 letters. The impact of that word on our life. I mean, it makes you just pause for a moment. Purpose all the way from a young child, 7 years old. I want to be a professional soccer player. I want to be a doctor. 19-year-old. I want to travel. I want to learn as many languages as I can. A mother. I want to be there for every second of my child's life. Purpose. Purpose drives people. It drives them. It's like a fire that if you find the right way to light it and to ignite it and to bring it, and to keep feeding it, it moves you forward, propels you forward, launches you forward. 7 letters. Purpose. Disconnected. Being disconnected from it. Questioning it. Being unfamiliar with it. Struggling with it. Can feel like a sickness. Can feel like a burden. Can feel like starting a trail and then finding yourself lost in the woods, trees around you, dirt path below you. You look around and you're lost and you don't like that feeling. Why? Purpose. Been a counselor for over 10 years. I've been a human 37 years. And purpose continues to live in so many conversations that I have, whether it's in a counseling session, with a friendly neighbor, with my wife, with my son, with my daughter, with a random person I may, being who I am, begin to talk to at a grocery store. And before I know it, I say, "Hey man, what's your number?" And my kid goes, "Do you know that person?" "Nah, they seem nice." Purpose lives in many of these spaces and conversations. What is your purpose? Has it been permanent? Or has it been fluid? Has it changed? And when you think about purpose, how do you feel? What is your body's response to it? Breathe deeply and you go, what is my purpose? And then you listen to your body, and does it relax? Do your shoulders feel at ease? Do your thoughts run wild and go, "I don't know. I don't like not knowing"? Purpose is a quiet question with a loud reaction. Why am I here? What's my life really about? Do I have a say-so? Or are there these strings above my head? Am I Pinocchio, yet I don't know it? It's yours. You get to decide. It doesn't have to be fixed. It can be like a canvas. You have a canvas in front of you. You pick your brushes. You pick your paint. And your purpose could be what comes out. And let's say nothing comes out. It stays blank. Well, that could be okay. Your purpose is discovery, exploration. We'll see. Or in Spanish, vamos a ver, which means we'll see. Let's find out. Your purpose could be that you go and you paint and it's just bright and loud and there and in front of you and you see it clear as day. And it's okay if 5 years down the road you come back to the canvas and you brush it all with white ink because you're starting again. That's okay. Finding purpose doesn't have to be about this big grand mission or dramatic revelation. No. It could be about small choices, consistent ones. Showing up for people. I'm a father. I find purpose in showing up for my children. I find purpose in being there at my kids' sports games. I believe in community. I love interacting with people. I try to, almost like out of default, see the best in others. I find purpose in having dinner with my neighbors. It brings me joy. It makes me feel whole. For those that like the sun, have you ever set out? Assume you have. Outside, you sit there and you let the sun hit you and it hits your skin, and there's that feeling that in some ways is difficult to describe, and it feels just right. Soaking it in. That can be purpose. That can be a feeling that comes with purpose. You may feel that in other spaces. You may feel that when you're out in nature. You may feel that when you're cleaning up your neighborhood, picking up trash because you don't like the way it looks. Purpose grows when we slow down enough to see meaning. Oddly enough, that's also a 7-letter word. MEANING, meaning. Purpose and meaning have quite a relationship. What is your purpose? What is my purpose? And what meaning is there that lies in it, that lives in it? Remember, purpose doesn't have to be this grand mission. It can be already alive in your life. Sometimes we just need to slow down. There's many sayings out there, right? Slow down and smell the roses. I think that's one. So slow down and see what life you've created. One of my favorite quotes comes from a book by Viktor Frankl. He was a Holocaust survivor, psychiatrist. Wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. And the quote is, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost anyhow." And I pause and I think, what is my why to live? What are they? There could be many. And when you look at that second part, can bear almost anyhow, that's what helps us get up every day, move forward. That's what gives us the strength to say, there's suffering here, I choose to be here. There's discomfort here, I choose to be here. This episode is a space that you and I are bonded in. We're sitting with one another and we're discussing purpose. We're exploring it. It's like a child that puts on their goggles, and then they have this clear water in front of them. And we'll call that the water of purpose. And they dip their head in there and they see life. They see fish moving around, bubbles, sand, and so much more. And that's what I'm asking here. I'm asking you just to see. And in that moment when that child has their head in the water, they're also feeling, aren't they? They feel maybe so many things. They feel joy and excitement, perhaps even a sense of fear, right? They're in the water and they're thinking, I hope a shark doesn't come. And maybe you feel some of that too. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're in the wrong space. Allow yourself to be still. Why am I here? What am I here for? What's your purpose? That line that I shared from Viktor Frankl. Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how. In this book, if you get a chance, I encourage you to read it. The line came from his personal experiences surviving concentration camp. And I remember in that book, he talked about losing so much, his home, his family, losing, yes, the material things in front of him, losing his freedom. And it's a book that I've read several times, and something about it pulls me to it. And I think it's the aspect of discovery. I remember him speaking in there that even in that suffering, right, he allowed himself, he found the space, whether it's him, he saw others, that life had meaning. And if you haven't read it, it's quite a challenge to see that and comprehend it. And I think that's where that quote really stands out. If those who have a why to live can bear almost anyhow. With it, you have your purpose. And in this moment, I think if I answered you on what drew me to it, it's purpose is not about running away or avoiding pain, discomfort. Right? That'd be quite a challenge to live a life of the ongoing avoidance of pain and discomfort. It's about finding, that's the next 7 letters coming up, meaning within it, the why. That inner sense of meaning. If you're on a boat and you're going somewhere and you see in that boat this anchor, you know that it is there to ground you. And it's yours and it's there and it's heavy. Purpose. Finding that sense of meaning. Your why becomes that anchor. You grab it, you bring it down, and then you ground yourself in that space, in that purpose. So in the lovely way, perhaps it's a fisherman out on his boat, and he anchors himself down because he says right now in this moment, in this small moment, my purpose is to slow down and find joy, to let the sun kiss me and be with me, and to catch fish. And why? Well, I have a family to feed. And so that fisherman fishes for hours and hours. And that sun that gently kissed him is now a little more leaning towards the discomfort. And he fishes and fishes, and he catches enough fish. And he comes back, and he feeds his family. Right? That can be purpose. My job is not to tell someone, hey, that is not purpose. What is your purpose? What is your why? What is your meaning that you find within your why? Remember a while ago I had a client I sat with, and they said, this was a younger gentleman, and he goes, I feel like a lot of people already know what they want to do. Somehow we landed on purpose. I just don't know. And I said, well, are you looking for purpose to like shout out at you? right? Like purpose to be, one of those silly balloon looking figures on the side of the road for a business that kind of blows in the wind. They're tall. It looks like a tall man. And I said, I'm sorry. Why are you sorry? I said, sometimes purpose is not loud like that. Well, how am I supposed to know? Good question. Right? And it could be a question that could eat up at someone. How am I supposed to know what my purpose is if I don't see it? Right? It causes a nervousness and anxiousness as if something is wrong with me. Because if I look around and I see that this person wants to be a doctor and this one wants to be a truck driver and this one is wanted to go and travel the world and learn languages, and I go, what about me? Something must be wrong with me if I don't know my purpose. No, something is not wrong with you. Pause, slow down. Breathe. Purpose can come from the moments that we live, from the choices that we make. Purpose at times is a bit of a whisper that you have to be there in the here and now to see. So for that individual, I said, I want you to try something. I want you to pretend that you are videotaping every second of your life. And what that means is that you have to be in the here and now. You have to be aware of what's happening. And then I want you to journal on what you see that you've been missing, what's in front of you. Then he came back and he brought back some information. He brought back places he's at, things he does, spaces he's in. And from that, we found many variables that connected to purpose. We found that he spends his time with certain people. We found what he likes and doesn't like. And then through all of that, I shared with him, I said, look, purpose doesn't have to be something that you are stuck with. It can grow. It can shift. For some people, that can be very helpful to hear. Right? To hear there's not something wrong with you. It is okay that you don't know what your purpose is. Right? Perhaps that means that you're in a space of exploration. My daughter used to like Dora the Explorer a lot, and she would explore. And she would say, Daddy, let's go outside. We got woods behind our house, so we would go out there and we would go and explore. What were we looking for? I have no idea. She had no idea. I would say, what are we looking for? I don't know. Let's just go. That can foster a space for purpose to be noticed. The words earlier, those who have a why can bear almost anyhow. Right? It reminds us that how, the challenges, right, the big mountains we have to climb, they become a little more feasible, a little more bearable when we remember the why. You're listening to this, maybe your why is your friends, your community, your family. Maybe your why, you're a creative person. Maybe your why is about creating beautiful things. You have a servant heart. Maybe your why is about healing, helping others. You've went through challenges in your life, pain. Maybe your why is healing from that past. And maybe even allowing that to filter onto others, meaning helping others do the same. You notice this process we're doing, it's not about perfectionism. It's not about reaching this top of a mountain and being done. It's a process, a journey. I want to encourage you, if you're searching for purpose right now, you're not behind, you're not in the back of the line. There is no line. If this were meditation, I would say you are becoming. And think about that. What does it mean to be becoming? Right? It is a process. You plant a seed and it is becoming. You start today and it is becoming. When a child comes into the world, it goes through stages, does it not? When my son came into the world, he went through stages. Early on, right, crawling. Right, perhaps before that, it was, laying in one position and then us helping him for another. And then he went from crawling to kind of standing and using maybe a chair to help him up. And then from that to walking a little bit and then falling over. Right, those small steps. Purpose can live within that. Start small. Start with questions like, what lights me up? What feels good? What gives me joy? What gives me peace? What is meaning? What feels meaningful? Right? Purpose lives within all of that. As you walk away today, I'd like for you to carry that quote with you. Those who have a why to live can bear almost anyhow. If you have somebody in your life that you think this episode will be helpful for, share it with them. I have found that in the time I've had the privilege to be in this profession as a mental health counselor, purpose is this term, this space that for many can impact their mental health, all the way from a level of depression to anxiety. If you have people around you and you notice, I think they would really benefit from this, share it with them.